do you know why I'm calling you a mango? And I was like, why? Because you can't let that man go. I want to be a little toxic sometimes, but then also part of me wants to stay on business. It was just this constant cycle growing up. Hey guys, and welcome back to Gisell Talks. If you're new here, welcome. It is episode 20 of Gisell Talks. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So, oh my goodness, you guys. Today's video is definitely, it's going to be a deep one. I am a little bit anxious right now just because this topic is a little bit like, because I feel like at the end of the day, with the videos that I post here online, I feel like recently I've been more thinking about the fact that like literally anybody could be watching my videos, and that kind of just like it's a little mind tripping. But I'm excited for today's video. I'm excited because I feel like I'm gonna be sharing knowledge that I think will be very useful for anybody, literally anybody, right? So that's that. Just a quick little reminder before I do start today's episode. My bad, I feel like I'm stuttering because I'm a little bit anxious. But just a quick reminder, you guys, that I am doing my giveaway. If you guys want to enter to win a $25 gift card or a chance to win more money than that, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Instagram at Gisell_II, and comment down any video ideas that you guys would like to see on this YouTube channel. And the more entries you guys have, the more likely you are to win more than just one $25 gift card. So that being said, one thing that I want to incorporate into my episodes now, besides my self-love cards at the end of every single episode, is that I want to incorporate this new segment of sharing 3 things that I'm grateful for. I feel like I want to find a cute little name for it though, because I feel like Gisell literally starts with the same letter as gratitude starts with. I hope that made sense. But I feel like I want to find a cute little name, so you guys have any ideas, please let me know in the comments down below. That being said, I'm going to be sharing 3 things that I'm grateful for in hopes that you guys also incorporate this habit into your guys' daily lives, because I feel like practicing gratitude has helped me a lot with my mental health, especially when I'm like down bad mentally. Remembering the things that I do have genuinely helps bring me out of this mindset of thinking about or dwelling on the things that I don't have, if that makes sense. So 3 things that I'm grateful for this week are my water bottle, because I finally bought a new water bottle, you guys. I lost it on the bus this one time that me and my sister went to the supermarket to buy rice and a bunch of other groceries, and so I left it in the freaking bus, and then I had to wait like a whole week to get a new one. But I'm grateful for Amazon and this water bottle because I feel more like myself now. I feel like I'm in control of my water intake again, because before I was just, during this week, since I didn't have it, I was just carrying this around, this small little water bottle. Another thing that I'm grateful for is my job, because girl, she's giving me the money, and I was able to buy my new water bottle with that money. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for my orthodontist, because she has helped me straighten out my teeth, which I'm very excited about, because I feel like this month is when I really started seeing progress, and I was like, wait, like, hold up, like, she looking cooking here. So that's that. And yeah, so you guys, to get into today's episode, I guess I kind of wanted to like bring it back a little bit as to like why I want to talk about this certain topic. So basically, you guys, it all started a couple weeks ago. So I kind of fell into this dilemma, y'all, where I was sort of battling with myself internally. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yes, I'm 20 years old. Yes, I'm trying to be more mature. Yes, I'm trying to be more of a grown woman and act more mature and be more mature emotionally, no sé qué, and, you know, like, level myself up. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, wait, but I'm literally just 20 years old. Like, why do I have to try to act so mature? Like, I'm literally just a kid. Like, I can make mistakes. Like, I want to be a little toxic sometimes too, you know? And it was just like this internal battle in my head. And honestly, it's still a battle inside my head, because I'm just like, girl, like, there's some days where I'm like, nah, like, I gotta sit on business. Like, I gotta be more mature. I gotta be grown. I can't let people back into my life and this and that, and this person did this to me, so I'm gonna do that, and that's okay, whatever. But then other days where I'm just like, girl, like, we literally are all gonna die one day, so, like, does it really matter? Like, let me be a little toxic. I'm literally young. People my age are doing the exact same thing and worse, so it's like why do I gotta be so hard on myself, you know? And so that was sort of the mentality that I was having, right? And I'm still having, you know? I'm just like, girl, every day is something different with myself. But anyways, so that happened, right? And so then, okay, this is kind of funny. But then, with this mentality, right? I remember one day out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but one day my brother called me a mango, and he was like, do you know why I'm calling you a mango? And I was like, why? He's like, because you can't let that man go. And I was like, oh. And automatically I knew that he was talking about my ex, because if I'm being honest with you guys, the last time that I was like in contact with him was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? I remember my brother just kept bringing it up and stuff, like, he just kept saying like mango, right? And then at some point it started irritating me, and I was like, why is this irritating me so much? Like, why is this irritating me so much, you know? Because I was just like, like, I don't know why, right? And then I kept talking about it with my mom, and she was like, yeah, it just seems like you're still hung up on the past and you can't seem to let him go, like, clearly, you know? And so I was like, okay, you might be right, you know? But then in my head, I'm also just like, but I'm young, and, like, you know, I want to be a little toxic sometimes too, you know? But then also part of me wants to stay on business. And so it was just, y'all, I hope y'all are like imagining this in your head too, right? And so that happened. And then one day in therapy, which is actually this past week, I went in for a completely different reason, had nothing to do with this whole situation, right? And so I was just telling my therapist, like, hey, like, I feel like there are a lot of things that I'm doing in my life right now that I don't like, and I feel like a lot of these things stem from my childhood, but I don't really know how, but, like, could you help me figure this out? And she was like, yeah. And so, you know, I started telling her, like, my timeline of just my childhood and my upbringing, and a lot of it had to do with my dad's alcoholism and my mom and my dad's toxic relationship growing up, right? And so, well, once I was done telling her my timeline, you know, she told me, she's like, well, not exactly this way, but she told me, like, hey, Giselle, like, you know, I hope you know that, like, what you just shared with me is an abusive relationship. And I was like, huh? Like, I was like, what? Like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? And then she started to explain to me very, very nicely how what I was describing between my mom and my dad growing up was an abusive relationship. Like, those are signs of an abusive relationship. And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, like, when she first told me that, I low-key felt offended, because I was like, what? Like, there's no way you're about to tell me that my parents were in an abusive relationship. Like, or that my mom was in an abusive relationship, because I feel like my mom has already gone through so much in her life. And so to even put into my head that she was in an abusive relationship and I didn't do anything about it, or I couldn't do anything about it, I was like, huh? Like, there's no way, you know? But the more she broke it down, it sort of made sense to me. And I feel like I almost felt like there was this like light bulb that like switched in my head, because I remember explaining to her, I was like, honestly, like, I'm really shocked with what you told me, because I've always seen my parents' relationship as a toxic relationship growing up, but I never saw it as an abusive one, you know? But then once she started retelling me what I was telling her in my timeline, I was like, damn, like that low-key was an abusive relationship. And so it just like, I felt like it was just like fireworks in my head, not happy ones. It was just like me gaining so much knowledge. And I was like, huh, that, okay, like that makes sense now, right? And so then at some point she shared something with me from like what I was sharing with her. And so I remember looking at her and I was like, wait, like that just like really stuck out to me, right? And so she was explaining how I was telling her that there were so many times growing up where my mom would bawl her eyes out and vent to me, telling her that like this was the last time, this was the last straw, and that she was like finally gonna let go of my dad because she had had enough of him. And then a week later she would act like nothing happened and that things are gonna get better now. And it was just this constant cycle growing up, and it was such a cycle, and this cycle repeated so many times to the point where I stopped believing her when she said that she would let go of my dad, because I was just like, she's gonna forget about this next week, and next week she's just gonna act like nothing happened. She's gonna act like she didn't just cry about it, and she's just gonna go back to him because that's just what's gonna happen, you know? And so when my therapist told me that part, right, so basically she was like, my therapist was sort of like reciting what I was telling her, right? And so hearing it from my therapist's like mouth, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's literally me. And I was like, wait, like hold on, like you telling me that like my mom going back to my dad so many times, like this cycle, I was like, that's literally me with my ex. Because I was like, I feel like there have been so many times where I've literally bawled my eyes out telling my siblings like, yo, like this is the last time, like I'm gonna cut it, like no, like he's done for, I can't go back to him, enough is enough. Or when he freaking moved on to a new relationship, and that really like struck me like a chord inside my heart. And I remember telling my siblings like, no, like this is the last time. Like there were so many times where I cried for this man, and I told myself, this is the last straw, this is where I end it. And then he would come back into my life, and I would let him back into my life like as if nothing happened. And for the longest time I didn't understand why I was doing that, because I was like, well, if I was so mad at him, then why did I let him back into my life? You know, it's like as if I forgot that, like, or it's like as if I forgot what he had done to me, you know? And so I remember telling myself, oh, it's because like I don't have enough self-love, I don't have enough self-respect, that's why I keep letting him back into my life, you know? But that just wasn't enough for me, because I was like, wait, no, like that doesn't make sense. Like I definitely do love myself, you know, I think I respect myself, but I just don't know why I keep going back, you know? But then when my therapist like sort of recited what I was telling her, like it really painted this picture into my head, and I was like, that's exactly what I've been doing this entire time for these past 2 years since we've been broken up, you know? And so I feel like having this realization and coming up with it together with my therapist helped me build some sort of empathy for myself, and helped me realize that like, okay, like it wasn't that I was crazy. It wasn't that something was wrong with me. It wasn't that I couldn't let go of him. It wasn't that I loved him too much, which is why I couldn't let go of him. It was just like the simple fact that like, you do what you see growing up, bro. Like, that's literally point blank, period. And bro, that really struck me like a freaking chord. And when I say going back to him, it's not like, oh, we were like starting a relationship again or anything like that. Just for some clarification, it was literally just, we would just meet up again and like start acting like nothing was wrong, and like we were just like friends again, you know. And I feel like for a long time I was like trying to convince myself that, oh yeah, like we can be friends, like we're cool, like, you know, like he's a good person, I'm a good person, cool, whatever. We can like look at each other, like we can look at each other and act like there's like no romantic feelings between the both of us. But then, I mean, yeah, actually, let me not go there because I don't want to put people's business out there. But yeah, that realization made me realize like, all right, girl, well, you're not going crazy, and all you did was just do what you literally saw growing up. And so I feel like right now I'm really trying to work on how to explain it, you guys. Like, I feel like, well, the first thing I'm gonna try to do is obviously not go back to my ex, obviously. And again, when I say go back, it's not like, oh, we're getting back together or anything like that. I just mean in the sense that I don't want to have any sort of connection with him, even if it's platonic, because I feel like at the end of the day, that's not going to help me out in the long run at all. And I feel like I should learn how to live on my own without having my ex a part of my life, period. Like, you know, like that's just that. And so that's something that I'm gonna really work on and try to hold myself accountable for within this next year, because I think that if I can do that for 1 year consistently, then after that it's going to be a lot easier for me to continue doing that. It's kind of like when you're trying to get into a new habit. Like, if you commit yourself for like X amount of time, then it's like you're more likely to continue that for like the rest of your life, because you've been doing it for such a long amount of time that it just becomes almost normal. And so I'm excited to just sort of enter this journey with myself, and really hold myself accountable, because at the end of the day, this is something that I have to work on with myself. And so I'm really excited for that, and I hope to share with you guys that journey and how it's gonna look like, because at the end of the day, I feel like I know that this is something that it's been one of my biggest insecurities, the fact that I would continuously go back to my ex despite everything that he had done to me and everything that he had said to me and all that. And I remember for the longest time I would make the excuse that, oh, it's just that I have daddy issues and that's why I keep going back. But truly having this better understanding with my therapist and that realization, like, that really solidified it for me. And I was just like, oh, so like that's the reason why like I kept going back, because my mom kept going back. So naturally you just do what you saw, like you do what you know what I mean? And so it's like at that time, like I didn't know any better. Like I literally did not know any better. Like I just knew what I knew and I did it. I did what I knew, But now that I know better, I hope to do better as well and not just continue those old same patterns, because at the end of the day, I feel like if I do continue to go back to him, it's not going to be because, oh, it's a mistake, or, oh, I didn't know any better. It's going to be more so like I'm going to be able to hold myself accountable more for that action, because it's like, okay, Gisell, well, now this time around, you do know better. So you should be doing better. And so if you're doing the same habits again, then that's on you, girl. That's not on nobody else. Because at the end of the day, like, you came to this revelation already. So you should act like, you should be living your life like you did come to this revelation and not acting like you didn't. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for this journey. I feel like it's going to be really interesting. And so yeah, that's the sort of revelation that I came to in therapy. And so I guess what I hope you guys take away from that is that if you don't already, if there's something that you really don't like about yourself, and if there's a habit that you really hate that you do, try to look into your childhood and connect the puzzle pieces to like, oh, like, well, I do this out of habit because this is what I saw growing up, or I do this because this is what happened in my childhood, which caused me to act like this now, you know, because I feel like it really is just crazy how a lot of it does boil down to your childhood. And I feel like that's like really realizing that, you know, because I always thought like, oh, like, yeah, like once I like leave therapy, because you guys know I started therapy when I was 13, then I stopped when I was 18, so that was like 5 years. And then I went back when I was 20. I went back when I was 20. Or was I 19? No, I think I was 20. Or like the end of 19 and beginning of 20, something like that. I don't know, right? And it's just crazy because I always thought that, oh, like once I left therapy during that first round, I'll call it, right? I was like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna like be this better person, and you know, which I am a better person, but I just always thought like, yeah, like I'm just gonna, you know how to do what you do in therapy, but on my own. But I feel like sometimes it is good to have just like that third eye, right? Because I feel like therapists, bro, they know what you tell them, you know. They don't know you on a deep level. They're not going to try to sugarcoat anything because like, oh, like I don't want to make her feel bad. Like, no, like you are not her best friend, she is not your best friend, or he is not your best friend, or you are not their best friend, you know. So that's been really, I guess I'm just happy that I went back to therapy, right? Which sort of makes me think like, damn, like everything really does happen for a reason. And it almost makes me think of like this butterfly effect, because in my head all I could think about now is, damn, like if I wasn't depressed last year, if I wasn't going through depression last year, right, then I wouldn't have had, okay, look, if I wasn't going through depression last year, I wouldn't have hit such a low point in my life. And if I had not hit such a low point in my life, then I would not have had the guts to reach out for help. And so if I had not had the guts to reach out for help, I would not be going to therapy right now. And if I had not been going to therapy right now, I would not have reached this revelation, and I probably would have still been in this toxic cycle of going back to my ex constantly, because I didn't go to therapy, and I didn't go to therapy all because, well, what am I trying to say? I hope it's making sense, you guys. But like, I would not have been going back. I would not have gone back to therapy had I not reached such a low point in my life, you know, because you guys already know that depression last year was absolutely horrible. There were so many things happening to me mentally, physically, emotionally, and I literally was experiencing like thoughts of, you know, and so I feel anxious saying that now because it is a really sad thing, but I don't know, it gets tricky, you know, because it's like, in my head I want to think like, yeah, like everything does happen for a reason, you know, but I also wish that I did not have to go through that to get to this point. But I'm also grateful because, you know, again, I just explained the whole timeline to you guys. Like, if this not happened, this wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen, this would, like, whatever. So, yeah, pretty much, honestly. And again, I don't want to, like, tell you guys, oh, yeah, you guys should go to therapy, because I don't know if I would say therapy is for everybody. I think that it takes a really strong person to go to therapy, A, and B, I also know that not all therapists are great. I've heard nightmare stories, and I'm just like what was she doing? Like, what the flip? Like, that makes like how is that well, how is that her trying to help you? Like I've heard stories like that, and that's literally why people have stopped going to therapy. And I'm just like, it just makes me sad, because I'm just like, bro, like you really had to ruin that experience for somebody, and that just does not sit well with me. My bad, you guys, if I'm stuttering, you guys. I'm just feeling anxious. I feel like whenever I get anxious, I start to stutter a lot. But yeah, pretty much that's been that. But on the bright side, you guys, I'm happy again that I came to this revelation. And so I hope to continue sharing more revelations with you guys the more that I'm in therapy. And so that being said, I'm going to transition into the self-love cards that are on my beautiful shelf up here, which my family helped me build. Okay, so let's see. Let's just see. Okay. I think I want to do something based on the past, so let's do this. Okay. This one says, who did you compare yourself to most often as a teen? Why? Who did I compare myself to most often as a teen, and why? Compare. Oh my god, I could think like of a million people that I would compare myself to, but I'm trying to think of like one for this that I could share with you guys. Who did you compare yourself to most often as a teen? Why? Damn, teenage years, bro. I was in middle school and high school, so I'm trying to pick like what year I want to pick. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna say like a group of people, because I can't really name one person that like, well, like the most person that like I compare myself to. But I will say that I compare myself a lot to girls' bodies online as a teenager. I vividly remember having this like super toxic bad habit where there were creators online that I would follow, and I would always look at their bodies, and specifically their legs, to see how skinny their legs were. And I vividly remember, bro, this is like, again, this is such a bad habit. This was such a bad habit of mine, because I don't do it anymore. But I vividly remember I would like pause when like you could see their legs like straight, look facing forward, right? And I would compare myself to them because I wanted to see if my legs were skinnier than theirs. And so I would like look out to see if they had a thigh gap or not, because if they had a thigh gap, then I felt this sense of joy, because I was like, okay, well, you might look prettier than me, but I'm skinnier than you. Which again, like, that's such a bad habit, and like that was such a bad thing of me to do when I was younger. Obviously now I have completely different goals and I have completely different habits, because A, I don't do that, and B, I'm trying to freaking get my legs to grow as big as I can, because I'm not trying to have skinny legs no more. Like, that's not my goal. But yeah, I guess that's, and again, I did that because I wanted to feel, I had this bad habit of just like trying to put someone else down to make myself feel better by myself in my teenage years. Now that I had to reflect on it, and I low-key want to like talk about that with my therapist and see why it is that I wanted to do that, because I don't know if, I'm trying to think if my parents did that, but I don't remember either of them putting people down to make themselves feel better. But I know that that was one of my bad habits growing up. And so yeah, pretty much that was that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys felt understood or seen in this video. Again, I know that change does not happen overnight, so if there's something that you guys are trying to change about yourself, you know, like, take the time to, you know, like, create a plan on how you're going to change that, but also be gentle with yourself, because at the end of the day, like, you don't want to hate yourself. You don't want to hate yourself into changing X, Y, and Z, you know? At the end of the day, you have to have some sort of compassion because, like I already mentioned earlier in this video, you didn't know any better. And so, yeah, pretty much. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Make sure to go outside, see some sun, touch some grass. Grass? Ew. I said that wrong. Touch some grass. Damn, my racist. Okay. But yeah, so I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next YouTube video, which is going to be out next Monday. So stay tuned. Bye, guys.